Welcome back to Patton's Pencils. Today I want to show you a quick activity that you can get ready for your students. It works the best if you have a good drag and drop idea. I'll share two with you today, and then you'll have to use your creativity to come up with something that is relevant for you and your students. So come along, let's take a look at Google Slides with a drag and drop activity. All right, let's go. If you click your waffle right over here, you can pull the drop-down menu down and go to your slides. When you do that, it looks like this. You have all of your recent items there and a blank document here if you'd like to pick a blank one. I've already started to work on something to show you today, so I'm going to open my existing document. So for Patton's Pencils drag and drop, we're going to show you two examples. The first one is pretty self-explanatory. It says click and drag the words to label the correct parts of the plant. Now, I'm missing a lot of objects here. I did create my text box and I want to center it. You can choose to do that with the Align tool. Stick it right in the middle because I also think I want to put a border weight on this today. Let's make it dotted and a little bit thicker so that we can see it. That might be too thick. That's better. Now I can also change the color of it, make it a little fun. Let's save that for later though. And to label the parts of the plant, I would need to go get a plant. Does anyone remember how to do that? Sure, we're going to go to Insert, Image, and if you have one already, you can get it from your computer or your drive, but if you don't have one yet, go search the web for a picture. Now, plant labeling parts or something like that. You could type labeling parts of the plant, comes right up. I'll click that, and it should give me some ideas here. Now, I don't want one that already has the words. Give a quick scroll, see if there's anything that appeals to you. I did find one earlier. I think I'm going to go grab that one. These are not quite what I'm looking for. If it doesn't show you what you're looking for, change your search criteria and see if it works better. But I already have this one. So I'm going to right-click, copy image, go back to my slides, and just paste it. Now remember, to paste it, I can do Control plus the letter V, and it will paste it, or I can right-click and click Paste. So there we go. I do want to make this as big as I can, and I don't really need the parts of the worksheet. So I'm going to double-click, and I get my cropping border. You can even see up here it highlights the crop icon. I'm going to take these little black boxes. If I move here with the 4 cross arrows, it will move the whole thing. I really want the 2 like this, and I'm going to slide it in to get rid of this border. On the other side, I'll do the same thing, and the top and the bottom. I only want the part of the picture with the plant on it. So as I crop this, I'm taking my time, and it looks good, so I'm going to deselect by clicking elsewhere, and there it is. In fact, now I can even make it larger and slide it over to here. You know what? I think I want to put it back where it was because I'm going to use the right-hand side here for my word bank. I need to move that guy over a little bit. Okay. Now, we need 4 answers. So we need 4 more things for our students to click and drag. But before I do that, I want to sort of freeze this in time. I don't want to change. I don't want the students to be able to move this picture or alter this text. I want it to stay just like this. And you know what? That dotted border is really bothering me. I need to make it a little less busy. So we're just going to do a solid box, okay? So to freeze this in time, what I'm going to do is just stop right here. I've done everything I want to do except put on the manipulatives that the kids are going to move. And my second idea, let's take you over to that, is to spell the word that names the picture. So first, I need to go get the picture. If I said spell the word that names the cat, I already gave them the answer. So you have to be creative with how you phrase things. So for our example, I think yesterday I used pineapple. That's way too many letters. Banana is still too many letters. So let's see. Let's just stick with cat. Get a nice picture of a cat over here, whatever you think looks appropriate, that your students will understand. Oh, that one looks like a tiger. Nope. This one looks good. Insert. Wait for it to think. And that cat is very large. I'm going to resize it to a medium-sized cat. In fact, I think I want it all the way up here. So I want to change my text box so that the text is in one place like here. All right, and if I scooch this over, I'll bet I can make my cat bigger. There we go. Now, we need somewhere for them to drag the letters to. Here I'm going to insert a table, and cat has 3 letters, so I'm going to go over 1 or 3 by 1 and click it. It automatically inserts it right smack in the middle of my paper. Remember, if I get the 4 arrows, I can slide it down. The red line tells me it's centered in my page. We need to make this bigger. Most definitely. So I'm getting my 2 arrows to make it bigger. The white 2 arrows will reshape the whole thing. The black 2 arrows will reshape one compartment. All right, I'm going to click Control Z because I didn't mean to do that. So there we go, right back at the beginning. If I deselect the table, it turns gray. That's fine. If I click it, it's blue. That I know I've selected it. We don't want our kids to type in here, so we're going to just deselect it. And up here, I have some space to add some letters. The best way to add your letters is to wait until you've locked this part down. In fact, I do believe my table is just a little too crazy big. Let's do that. That looks like a more manageable size. Center it. Okay. In fact, whoop. Remember, get those white arrows, slide it in. I did say square up here, so I'm trying to make these be as square as I can, just by eyeballing things. And then I'm going to leave them there. Center it again so we're all on the same page. Ta-da! Okay, now I have slide 1 is done. Slide 2 is finished. I'm actually going to change the background on this slide. So right-click, change background. And I'm going to use a fill color today. I do believe, let's do a nice calm green. And if I click Add to Theme, it will add it to my new slides. Right now, I just want to do one slide, and I'm done. But I can't see my text box anymore, so we need to up the border, maybe make it nice and black, make it nice and thick. So I should do that for each one. Not a fill, just an outline. But honestly, maybe a fill would be a very good idea here. It would really highlight where the students should be dragging and dropping their letters. So you can see how I filled them in white. When I deselect now, there's those 3 stark boxes they can use. We're going to stop right there for a second and show you the next step. So right about now, you should have a good idea about what you'd like to lock down and what you'd like your students to be able to manipulate, to move around, to drag and drop. So if you have that idea in your head, now is when we need to lock down part of your page, part of your slide, so that the students are not able to move that. They are only able to manipulate the things that we want them to do. Take a look. Now you have two slides ready to be manipulated, but we don't want our students to move these parts. So before I go farther, I'm going to go to File and download them as a PNG image. When I do that, my computer sends them right to my downloads file. I can open them here, and you can see exactly that it did that one. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a File, Download, PNG for this one. And there's the next one. Everything is frozen in place when you do that. You cannot alter the PNG images anymore. So what I like to do here is just add two blank slides. And we'll move them, click and drag them to the end if you need to rearrange them. But on this one, I'm going to change the background into one of those images. Let's start with the cat. So instead of changing the color, I'm going to choose an image and upload from my computer. So I have to browse, and right there it pops up in my recents. So I'm going to pick the cat and click Open. Let it think for just a second, and I'm done. Now the students cannot move anything. When I try to click and drag, nothing moves. If I were to click and drag on the original, the kids could end up doing things that make it really wonky, and then they can't even put their words where they need to be. So let's go back to the one that is frozen in place and add the parts to be manipulated. Here, instead of using a text box and drawing one letter, say the letter C, I'd have to highlight it, make it much, much bigger, and make it nice and bold. If the students were to manipulate that letter C, they would try to click it, and sometimes it doesn't always drag. Sometimes it just highlights the text, and it makes it very frustrating for your students to try and move it. So we actually don't want to use that type of letter. You can insert image and search for letter C, and you could insert an image like that. Now, some people don't like to do that because it makes the font for each letter possibly different and crazy and colorful. If you like that, go for it. If you're looking for a little more consistency, we're going to go to Insert Word Art. And when I click that, I can type the letter C. It says use Enter to save. And there's my C. Now it turns it into a picture and the kids can drag it. However, I made my boxes white, so I think I want to make my letter C a little bit darker here so that they can see what's going on. Go with dark blue this time. Okay, I can still move it. That's good. I'm going to Insert, Word Art, type the letter A, and because I already formatted the first one, it copies and is already the same font, the same color. So when I insert Word Art T, same thing. Now the T is a little smaller because it made it the same height. If you would like to correct it, remember when you drag the sides, it comes out of proportion. So to keep your ratio, click the corner one and make it a nice big T. It's about the same there. Now, if it's a challenge, you don't want to leave your letters all lined up. Maybe you even want to add some extra letters. So go into your word art and add as many extra letters as you'd like to move these around and manipulate them. Let's see, insert, word art. Maybe we'll put an O in there instead of an A. One of the other things we talked about in class is for our younger students, if they're not familiar with a typological A here, you may want to change your font to something that has a rounded A with a circle and a stick. And then if I kind of select all of these, I need to scooch them over with my arrow key. And there's our letters. So if I follow the directions, it says spell the word that names the picture. Click each letter you need and drag it to the correct square. So your students would be clicking and dragging. It's great computer practice along with learning their letters and spelling their CVC words. It's a great place to start. If they perchance get this wrong, because you locked down this background, they can easily change out their letters and fix their answers. If I was on this screen, or this slide, where remember we were able to manipulate things, your students could possibly put the letter C there, and then instead of grabbing it, sometimes they grab the chart and things move in the wrong direction, and you have to worry about arranging the order by bringing things to front or back. If you lock down the background, none of that matters. So let's go to our plant. Well, this is the one that moves, so I'm going to go to the new slide, insert a new background by choosing an image and browsing my computer. There it is. Open. Let it think, and done. So here it is. Now I need to make the words that they're going to drag and drop. Remember, don't use a text box. Go to Insert, Word Art, and type the word. If you'd like to change it to maybe the color of a petal, that you give them a subtle hint here, you can. If it's too large, shrink it down. Make sure, though, when you shrink your letters or leave them, make sure your word art fits on the line or close to it. My only caution is if you get it too small, it's hard to drag and drop. So insert, word art, stem. Maybe I'll make that one green. It's definitely too large. Does it fit? Sure. Okay, let's put that one at the bottom. Insert, word art, roots. Now, depending on your students, you might not want to color code these. You may want them to think more. Just make them all black. But once again, does it fit on the line? It does. And leaf. Leaf, leaves, whatever you choose, whatever your goal is here for them. Now, if I make that green too, then at least they have to think about which is which. Does it fit? It does. Yes. Yes. And yes. So, to put them back where they were, I'm going to click undo. I'm going to hold Control and press the Z again and again and again. But that one wasn't where I wanted it, so we'll slide it over here. If you want to make these look more like clickable boxes, you can also add the border weight to them. I misspoke. It makes the letters bold. Let's not do that. But they should be able to follow these directions. Click and drag the words to label the correct plant parts, and you've made an interactive worksheet for your students to complete. So that's perfect. All right, well, now that that's finished, we can go ahead and delete the slides we don't need. Over here, I'm going to right-click and delete. Or if I highlight the thumbnail, I can push delete on my keyboard. And I am left with the 2 worksheets or interactive slides that I want my students to complete. Here, I would have to go into Classroom and add them as an assignment for each student to get a copy. And there you have it.
Okay, I tried to go through that as fast as I could, but truly it can be a very time-consuming process. You need to make the choices that are best for you and your students and what you'd like to use in your digital classroom and going forward in your real classroom. But all in all, I hope I gave you some great ideas today and some working knowledge that you can take back and use. So be creative, do your thing, and be successful. Thanks for watching. Bye.